Hi, I'm Jess with KnotSewOrdinary. I just wanted to come and introduce myself, and I thought I would do a tutorial. Not really a tutorial, just kind of a quick video. I've had a few people ask me to make some videos of some of the items that we make, and I wanted to whip up something that's kind of quick. So, to get started, I'm going to have a 4.5 hook. I have some chenille yarn in an orange color. I have an orange stress ball, and then I believe these are a size 10 safety eyes. With this, you're also going to need a pair of scissors. I have my handy dandy Susan Bates needle. It's extremely long, but I do a lot of amigurumi, so that comes in handy. I use it quite often. You will also need a lighter, and then I just have a piece of metal that I use, which you'll see why later. I did make part of this already just to make this a bit of a shorter. What I'm going to do is make a stress ball goldfish. So prior to, I did quickly whip up the pectoral fins, the dorsal fin, and then the tail fin. So I've got 3 different fins here that I'll kind of put together before we throw the ball in, just to make it easier. This really should only take about 15 minutes, but to go ahead and get started here, I'm just going to make a magic circle. If you don't know how to make a magic circle, I'll try to do this actually kind of slow real quick. I just grab it with my 2 fingers and my thumb, wrap around the 2 fingers, come under the bottom, and then go over again. So it's going to be over twice. So when I put my hook in, I put in between my 2 fingers in the middle of that circle. And then, so it's going through the 2 underneath both of those. You're going to kind of pull that, the outside one, you're going to pull it over and grab it, with your hook and pull it through. I kind of twist it around as I'm going, and then kind of come back up and grab that loop again. There are a lot of tutorials. This is kind of tricky for some people. It did take me a bit of time before I could get it. But there are a lot of videos on YouTube that'll teach it. Practice goes a long way. But once you have that magic circle, what it's going to do is have this extra piece where what it is you can pull that, and it's going to cinch up that circle and make it smaller. Before we make it all the way small though, I'm going to quickly make 6 single crochets into that magic circle. I've already put my stitch marker in there to show me where the beginning stitch is. Alright, so there was 1. My hands are not working with me. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and final. Sorry, the chenille, it sheds a lot. Alright, now that I've got my 6 single crochets, I'm going to grab that small piece and pull. Sometimes with the chenille it's not so easy to do. I know this string, because I've used it, it can take it, but sometimes it will pull apart or make a mess. So you want to be careful with the yarn that you're using. Now that my circle is completely closed, what I'm going to do is slip my hook into that first stitch that we did. Okay, before I make any stitches at all, I'm going to take that little piece and kind of wrap it around in there, because I'm going to work over that, and that way I don't have to, I hate tying like loose ends in, I hate weaving them in or whatever. I just hate it. So I did bring that string through, and I'm going to finish off 1 single crochet in that first stitch. We are going to increase in all 6 stitches on this round. This is going to be round 2. So that was 1. Here's 2 in that same stitch. I'm going to go to the next stitch and put 2 single crochets into that. Same with the 3rd stitch, 2 single crochets. So that's now 6 stitches we have. The 4th stitch is going to have 2. That makes 8 stitches total. Number 5 is going to have 2. And then 6. That 6th stitch is our final stitch on this round. We're going to put 2 in there, and all 6 of those have 2 in there, which means we have 12 stitches around. Round 3, I'm going to remove that stitch marker. I'm going to do 1 single crochet in this first stitch, put my stitch marker back in, and then we're going to do an increase on the 2nd stitch. So that's going to make 2 and 3 stitches this round so far. And the repeat on this round is going to be 1 single crochet. The second one will be an increase, which means 2 single crochets into that. And we're just going to continue that repeat all the way around. So at the end of this round, we should have 18 single crochets. I have 2 more sets here. There's my single, here's my increase. Last repeat here, 1 single, and my increase. So I have 24 stitches now, or I'm sorry, I have 18 stitches now. The next round we're going to have 24 stitches. So I'm going to take that stitch marker out and do 1 single crochet in that first stitch. We're going to do a single crochet in the 2nd stitch, and then we're going to do an increase in that 3rd stitch. So every 3rd stitch is going to be an increase on that on this round. So we'll repeat that for the other 5 repeats here. This is my 3rd repeat, so it's a single crochet, and then an increase. We'll do that again, a single crochet, oops, a single crochet, and the increase. We should have 2 more sets left for this round. And then here's my final increase, or repeat, single, single, and then my increase. So now we have 24 stitches in our round. So I'm going to take my stitch marker out. I am going to put 1 single crochet in that first stitch. I'm going to do 3 more single crochets in the next 3 stitches. So 4 of the stitches will have single crochets in them. Okay, after we've done 4 single crochets, we're going to chain 2. I'm going to skip 2 stitches and then resume back into the 3rd stitch there. So that was 4 stitches. The chain 2 is 2, that's 6, and then I just did 1, so that's 7. We're going to go 8, 9, just do single crochets the rest of the way around. You should end up with 24 stitches. So you did 22 single crochets directly into it, and then you did that chain 2, skip 2, so that is the 24. But at the end of this row, there should still be 24 stitches. And I have 3 stitches left in this round. Okay, now comes kind of the fun part. We get to start decreasing. Take my stitch marker out. I'm going to do 1 single crochet in that first stitch. I'm going to do a single crochet in that 2nd stitch. And then we're going to invisible decrease. I'm going to just go into that front loop for the next 2 stitches and just do a decrease. The next 2 stitches should be that chain 2. So just go through 1 loop and do a single crochet. Next one, single crochet. That was 2 single crochets. Now once you get off that loop, those first 2 stitches, you're going to do a decrease between those 2. We're just going to repeat that. 2 single crochets, single crochet 2 together or a decrease, single crochet 1 and 2, and then decrease the next 2. So since we had 24 at the end of this round, since we've decreased 6 times, we should be back to 18 stitches around again. 2 together, 1, 2, and then the last 2 stitches will be that final decrease. So again, there should be 18 stitches. Now because we did that chain, there is going to be just a little hole here. That's going to be the mouth of our fish. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that a little bit so I don't lose that stitch. I'm going to leave my stitch marker there so I know where I'm at. But I'm going to face that little hole, if you can see where my finger's popping out here. I'm going to face that little hole towards us and look at it. And then I'm going to grab our safety eyes, and what you want to do is pop them in wherever you think it looks good around that mouth. You just want to make sure it's pretty much symmetrical. Example, there's mine. Got them in about the third or fourth row down, in between row 3 and 4. And then I've got it just centered around that mouth hole. Now, I'm going to hold them in place. I'm going to flip my work inside out so that I can see the back of these safety eyes. Now I'm going to pop on the backing, and I'm going to pop it on as tight as I can make it go. We want these to go nowhere. With safety eyes, we really don't suggest them for pets or young children that tend to chew on things because they can be a choking safety hazard. This is going to help reduce that risk, but it does not make it go completely away. So just be aware. If you are ordering anything from us that is for a young child or a pet, we do suggest that you have us embroider a face instead. So actually I set my hair on fire doing this once. I'm going to not do it again. So I'm going to pull my hair back. Okay. Now I'm going to take the lighter I have, and I'm going to just melt the tip of this safety eye. So I do try and set it on fire. There, well, once it's going, you have about 8 seconds or so. And then I just push this metal against that backing so that instead of this sharp piece, we now have this blunt, soft piece that is not going to pop the stress ball. I am going to try and melt this just a smidge more to get it a little closer to that backing. There we go. I do like to hold the metal piece on there just till I know it's going to be cool enough. Okay, so I'm going to go through and do that with the second one as well. These are not burning as easy as the last set that I had, so I'm going to just again do a secondary melt here. There we go. Just want to get it pretty far down there because I don't want it popping that stress ball. Okay, so it's cooled down to where it's not burning me to touch, but again, these are now not hard. We're going to flip it back right side out. Okay, so in the last row that we did 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So in this row, we're going to do 1 single crochet and then 1 decrease. So we're going to go from 18 back down to 12. So here's that first single crochet, put my stitch marker back in. And then again, I'm going to do the invisible decrease, which means you're going to go under just the front loop and then put your hook under the second front loop Then you grab the string and pull it through both those loops and finish the single crochet. That is an invisible decrease, and I like to do that on most of my work. So there was one single, get my hook to work with me here. Sometimes it's a little tricky and you just gotta fidget around with it a little bit. Well, okay. This one, there we go. Didn't want to separate. All right. That's my decrease, so then the next stitch will be a single. There's decrease, single, decrease, okay, I've got one more repeat, single, and decrease, but again, it's just gonna mess with me here today because I'm making a video, that's why. All right, now once I'm done with this row, because the next one is going to decrease significantly, there's a few things that I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to pull my working loop up to make sure I don't lose my stitch, and this is where I'm going to start putting my fins onto the fish. So with this guy, I want him on the top of the head. I like to attach these before I like to attach them before I put the ball into the piece, because I don't like risking popping that. So I'm just going to find the middle of the top of the head, and then I'm just going to kind of start weaving these tails from the fins that I made in and through. Go through a few different stitches here, make sure it's good and secure. And then once it's on there pretty good, I'm going to take that string down inside, and then I have a second string as well. So what I'm going to do is just go through and secure it with the other one, because when I made the fin, I had a string on each side. So I had a starting cord, and then I worked, and then there was the end cord. So I've got two of them on here. And again, what I'm going to do is kind of just secondary put that on, make sure it's good and secure. I think it looks pretty cute on there right now. So with the two ends that I have on the inside, just to make sure that that fin is not going to go anywhere, I'm actually going to tie a couple knots and leave those knots inside the actual work so that it's not sticking out. I am going to trim it just a little bit though. Okay, so now that is attached. The next thing I want to do, I think the next thing I'm going to do is the tail fin. So I do want that one to go real close to the bottom where I'm currently working on the next row. So it's going to be real close, but I want to make sure not to get so close that it's going to affect me being able to, just to make sure I get the center. I'm also going to just kind of I'm going to flatten this out so that I can see that I'm in the middle. Like, I did a pretty good job guessing for the top fin. I want to make sure the tail is back here as well. So with that, I'm going to flatten it out, and I'm just going to attach it back here, but not get too close, like I said, to that edge, because I don't want it to affect when I'm trying to start that row back up. So I'm just going to kind of go back and forth. Secure it. Oh, I just lost my cord. Okay, and then once I get up to the top again, I'm going to take that one cord and go back on the inside like I did before. Now I'm going to take that other working cord and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it on my hook, or yeah, put it on my needle here. And then I'm going to do the same thing and just kind of work through and just make sure it's really secure to this fish. I don't want it going anywhere. All right. And now that I have made it to the other end, I'm going to, again, go through the middle, and I'm going to pull it right off the hook again. Not the hook, the needle. Needle it back up. Go through the center of the fish. Can't talk if I've got a needle in my mouth. Okay, so again, to make sure that this fin doesn't go anywhere, I'm going to tie that in a knot on the inside. So again, these knots are not visible on the outside. Make it look nicer at the end. And then I'm going to find my scissors, trim that down just a smidge. We don't need a lot of extra string on the inside, but we want it nice and hidden. So here so far is our little fishy, and we've got two more little side fins, the little pectoral fins that we're going to put on. So again, I'm going to take one of these working cords on it, throw it back on my needle, and it's going to do what I said. It sometimes loses that fluff to it, and it's not so easy to work with. With the fin here, I'm trying to figure out how I want it placed. I think we're going to go this way. So I want to go underneath the eye. I want to have it kind of under and back just a little bit from the eye. So with this one, it's such a small fin. It's not going to take a whole lot of attaching. Let's do just a little bit here and then put this on the inside. I think with the other side, I'm just gonna, I don't even need to put it on my hook because I'm just gonna pull it inside through one of the stitches. So I'm just gonna put my hook through the stitch there, through that hole, grab a hold of that other and pull it in. So there's that little fin. We're just gonna tie the insides, or tie the ends on the inside. I'm going to tie it like a three times knot just to make sure, because this string is kind of, it's chenille, it's going to be a little slick on itself. So there's that little side fin. Can you see? Oh, he's so cute. All right, we got one more little fin. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to look and make sure. So this is where the mouth is, it's going to go just underneath that line of the mouth and by the eye. So make sure that this is all symmetrical. I'm very OCD with the symmetrical. Try and put it on here, and I'm going to just eyeball it and make sure we're looking good. Yep. Alright, pull that string in here. Grab that needle and just make sure it's real good and secure to the fish. The string's longer, we'll use the longer string. Work smarter, not harder. Alright, go back through here, grab the fin, go through my little fishy. Alright, wonderful. He's so cute. Alright. Do the 3 knots inside the fishy. Just going to trim that down a little. If you've worked with chenille, you know it makes an awful mess. I'm wearing so much of it right now. It's kind of a pain, but I just love the stuff that you can make with it. All right. So now is the fun part. We're finishing up, almost there. So I'm going to take my stress ball, and it should fit inside here. Sometimes you got to manipulate it a little bit to get it to fit in there. All right, so it's kind of sitting in there a little bit. Just popping out a tiny little bit here. I'm going to put my hook back in my work. Tighten up that loop. So now we should have left off with 12 stitches. So it should mean we'll have 6 decreases to go. I'm once again going to do my invisible decreases. Once I get this first one done, I'm going to put my stitch marker back in just to double check that I've got my count correctly. So that was 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. 4. 5. See, now if when you're working that tail fin, if you get too close to these stitches, it's really going to make it difficult to do these decreases. So you definitely want to make sure you're not too close. So there was number 6. I am so covered in orange. All right, I'm going to cut my string, pull through that final stitch we did. I'm going to go ahead and remove my stitch marker and put down my hook. We're done with those. I'm going to go ahead and last time for this piece, put the string through my needle, and then what I'm going to do is just the top or the outer loop of all 6 of those stitches. I'm just going to kind of lace through one by one through all of those stitches. You just pull it tight. It's going to cinch up that little hole. I like to go to a stitch close, and then I do kind of a little knot. Pull that through. And now that it's knotted, I put, this is where you want to be careful because you're putting your needle inside here where the ball is. But you want to just slightly, without force, you want to not poke that ball at all, but go up into the ball, the fish, a little bit, come out another hole. You're going to go ahead and trim off that yarn and you're going to have little fuzzies. But this little fishy is adorable for starters, and he's complete. So he's got his little fins, he's got his cute little face, and then when you squeeze him, he's a blowfish. So we are going to start offering these. They are going to be $6. Each little fella is going to be $6 for the stress ball fishies. I have also, I made a couple of fishies, but I also made a little froggy. He's got his little froggy legs. He does the same thing. So these are lots of fun. They're available. They're $6 a piece on our website. If there's something that you guys think of you want me to try and make, please send me a message, leave a comment, and I would definitely try to make it. If you want some more videos of me making any of these things, let me know also. But thank you for watching. Take care.